Venus, hello. ¿Por qué me escucho yo a mí misma? Hola, hola, hola. ¿No te va? Hola, hola, hola. ¿Cómo que no te va? Oh, oh, oh. Déjame ver. Ah, debería ir. Espera un momento. Te va fatal otra vez. Me va bien. Me va bien. Soy yo. Soy yo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sí, señor. A ver. Ahora, se me crashaba todo. No me va bien también. Se me crashaba todo. No me va. Anoche. Hoy. Ahora me ha dado cuenta que yo básicamente olvidé qué tutorial hacía. Esto bastante horroroso. A ver. ¿Cómo estás tú? ¿Cómo va todo? Yo con calor increíble, pero con ganas. Es como en plan, sin rendir, así. Espera. Tarararara. Voy a... ¿Dónde está mi Streamlabs? Tengo que arreglar aquí las cosas. Bailando. Y OBS, vale. Y a la vez estoy streameando en YouTube, como siempre, pero no sé si va bien o no. Y, Dios mío. Venus, ¿tú entiendes inglés? Quiero leerte una cosa. De hecho, voy a hacer aquí así, grande. Se me puede ver muy bien, ¿no? Voy a leer una cosa súper importante. Y viene mi gata. A ver, soy yo. Bueno, ahora mi gata también. Xena, ven aquí. Tú vas a dar más efecto a mi vídeo. Que yo después seguramente eso voy a clipar. Xena, ven aquí. I will read. Ay, por cierto, mira, ahí se ve mi David que yo dibujé. Pues así, perfecto. Venus, I will read something super, super important. Look, así. Xena. Bueno, no sé si Xena... Pero, tú me vas a entender ahora, Venus. Ahora, ¿dónde está? Vale. Estoy lista para leerlo. A ver. Está aquí. Researchers gave a group of students a different vocabulary test. But before the test began, they asked some of the black students questions about their race. Astonishingly, the black students who were asked about their race performed worse than the rest, scoring lower than the white students. And the black student who had not been questioned, importantly, when students not asked those questions, the scores were comparable. Xena, ¿qué estás haciendo? So this is like a preambula saying that basically when people gave stereotypes to us about us, we apply them to ourselves. Impact a negative stereotype can have on someone's self-story isn't just observed in matters of race. In another study, researchers wanted to test the pernicious myth that says women aren't good in math as men. Before setting both male and female undergraduates to test, some of the participants heard The researchers say that that's a rule. Men and women score differently. So basically, that's what I wrote in my book, and this is a CEO guy wrote about this. That what people say to us, we just believe because we are lazy. And then he says that the woman who heard the researchers' negative comments performed significantly worse, reported greater anxiety, and had lower expectation about their performance than the men. These experiments confirm earlier studies by finding that when participants were exposed to the comment about their gender, stereotypes that kicked in their performance deteriorated. So, what would happen if a woman could escape her identity, change her self story, and pretend to be someone else while writing the test? Apart from this, woman needs to pretend to be someone else. This is story. But I gonna continue with my. Sena, no? Okay. Okay. Lo siento mucho. That's the story. Okay. I'm back to my study and I need to look for what exactly we are going to execute now of the tutorials. Okay. Oh, it's a Coco Jumbo.
What's up, guys? Justin here with the CGEssentials.com, back with another Blender modifier tutorial for you today. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how to use the skin modifier in order to create base meshes for sculpting and other things like that.
Vale, estás en YouTube viendo cómo hacer palomitas de maíz, pero ¿sabías que con la app de YouTube Music puedes escuchar podcasts sobre la tenebrosa historia?
If you can draw a stick figure, you can model merge it at so that points don't have to be as close to the center for them to actually merge. So to do that, we can just take this merge distance and turn it up to something higher, like 0.1. And now you can see it doesn't have to be as close to the center for them to actually merge.
Go to motionway.com to add this
if you want, which is just going to make points in the center, not able to move to the sides like that. But I like to leave mine off and just have the merge distance something a little higher like that. If you want to shade this smooth, normally you'd be able to go back into object mode and right click and shade smooth like that, but you can see it's not really working. With the skin modifier, you have to do that over in the modifier panel by clicking this smooth shading option like that. We're going to be using X-ray mode a lot so we can see through our object, and you can do that with Alt-Z, or you can hit this button up here that looks like two squares overlapping. And if you want to move your object around without hitting G using this little gizmo right here, you can turn that on up here. There's a little drop down and you can turn it on for moving, rotating.
Hello. Hola, hola, hola. We are proceeding with my Blender investigation. I hope to at least make something valid by the end of today. Okay, 12 minutes, but now I'm just managed to find my tutorial during those 12 minutes. Let's see. I'm repeating the information.
Like this, I just have a matte cap on. So you can
this stuff we already have.
Go up here to shading, there's a drop down. I switched mine from studio to matte cap, and I'm just using this normal lighting one right here. Alright, so back into X-ray mode with Alt-Z. With the skin modifier, you can scale up your points with Control-A, like that, so you can see I'm scaling it up and down now. Normally you'd be able to select things and hit S to scale things up, but that doesn't work with the skin modifier. You can also hit Control-A and then X, and that...
So it's Control-A and X. Let me try. He's on the edit mode. I don't know if he's in the edit mode. Thank you. So, okay. I should not get myself disturbed. So, Control.
That looks up, but that doesn't work with the skin modifier. You can also hit Control-A and then X.
Control-AX. Okay, let's try. Control-AX. Yeah, it's working. So, perfect. I'm in the edit mode.
And
let's see.
Scale it only on the X-axis, or you can hit Y to scale it on the Y-axis like that. If you don't want to use these shortcuts, you can hit N to open up the side panel right here, or there's a little arrow, and you just want to make sure you're in item, and you can see there are these two options, radius X and radius Y. You can click and drag to select both and turn both of them up that way, or you can just use one if you want it to be flatter or something like that. So to start our character, I'm going to go into X-ray.
He went to the X-ray mode. I think I'm already there. Yeah, this is my X-ray. And
mode and hit Control-A to scale this down.
Oh, he's making Control-A and scaling it down very, very small, like this.
Quite a bit. Drag it up. This is going to be where our hips are, and we can basically...
Okay, he's saying this would be our hips. Okay, this are our hips.
E to extrude to draw our...
E to extrude, okay, and... Why is it like this? Why? No, it's so bad. Oh my god. So it's kind of weird. I'm gonna do the same. Let's try, guys, again the same from 0. Or I can open again without saving, and I'm gonna try. My god, where it was? Where is my... originally were all my stuff. I have no idea. Okay, so I'm gonna delete it all. I'm gonna delete everything. I'm gonna add, well, I'm gonna add cube. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna click, no, add cube. I'm saying object edit mode M at center. I have this one now. So now having this, I'm gonna add modifier, which would be skin modifier, and this would be mirror modifier and subdivision surface. That's what we have. It's perfect. I'm saving this. He has mirror, skin, subsurface. Okay, skin, and I'm not sure if the sequence makes sense, but yes. And probably I am already ready to extrude. No, it's not extruding exactly as I want to, because mirror is probably something wrong with mirroring. Alright, so this one is gonna be 001. And clipping, I can leave the clipping, but it's not extruding as I want to. Alright, why not? And what is this? Set origin or geometry to origin to geometry. Perfect. So I did this all.
The skin modifier. This is going to give our character some thickness, and then we can add a subdivision surface modifier, and this is just going to smooth it out. And I'm just going to turn the viewport levels up to 2, so it's a little smoother. And I want our mirror modifier to be a little easier to use so that points don't have to be as close to the center for them to actually merge. So to do that, we can just take this merge distance and turn it up to something higher, like 0.1. And now you can see it doesn't have to be as close to the center for them to actually merge.
But why my mirror modifier is not working? Okay, this is terrible. I'm gonna do it again. Starting, you cannot even do it with normal stuff. So
go to add-ons and search for extra objects, and just make sure extra objects is enabled. Then you can hit Shift A and you can actually add in a single vert if you want.
okay, but he gonna add the cube.
You can even add in Suzanne the monkey, tab into edit mode.
We have monkey. A, M at center. Perfect.
Select everything, hit M, and merge everything at the cursor. And
Oh, okay. I wanted to do it at the cursor. Perfect.
still, we have one single vertex. You can do it whatever way you want. It doesn't really matter too much. So now we need to add a few modifiers. So you can come over here to modifier properties and add in a mirror modifier because we want our character to be symmetrical. Next, we can add the skin modifier. This is going to give our character some thickness, and then we can add a subdivision surface modifier, and this is just going to smooth it out. And I'm just going to turn the viewport levels up to 2, so it's a little smoother. And I want our mirror modifier to be a little easier to use so that points don't have to be as close to the center for them to actually merge. So to do that, we can just take this merge distance and turn it up to something higher, like 0.1. And now you can see it doesn't have to be as close to the center for them to actually merge, like that. You can also turn clipping on if you want, which is just going to make points in the center not able to move to the sides like that. But I like to leave mine off and just have the merge distance something a little higher like that. If you want to shade this smooth, normally you'd be able to go back into object mode and right click and shade smooth like that, but you can see it's not really working. With the skin modifier, you have to do that in the modifier panel by clicking this smooth shading option like that. We're going to be using X-ray mode a lot so we can see through our object, and you can do that with Alt-Z, or you can hit this button up here that looks like two squares overlapping. And if you want to move your object around without hitting G, using this little gizmo right here, you can turn that on up here. There's a little drop down, and you can turn it on for moving, rotating, and zooming. Like this, I just have a matte cap on, so you can turn that on if you want and go up here to shading, the drop down. I switched mine from studio to matte cap, and I'm just using this normal lighting one right here. Alright, so back into X-ray mode with Alt-Z. With the skin modifier, you can scale up your points with Control-A, like that, so you can see I'm scaling it up and down now. Normally you'd be able to select things and hit S to scale things up, but that doesn't work with the skin modifier. You can also hit Control-A and then X, and that will scale it only on the X-axis, or you can hit Y to scale it on the Y-axis like that. If you don't want to use these shortcuts, you can hit M to open up the side panel right here, or there's a little arrow, and you just want to make sure you're an item, and you can see there are these two options, radius X and radius Y. You can click and drag to select both and turn both of them up that way, or you can just use one if you want it to be flatter or something like that. So to start our character, I'm going to go into X-ray mode and hit Control-A to scale this down. Quite a bit. Drag it up. This is going to be where our hips are, and we can basically hit E to extrude to draw our character stick figure style. So this is going to be our leg. We can hit E to extrude and then Y to extrude that just on the Y-axis. I'll extrude this part up. That will be our spine. That can be our shoulder right there. And we'll have arms. This will be our neck. And our head right there. And if we want, we can make our feet flatter by selecting that point, hitting Control-A and then X. You can see it's getting flatter now right there. but it's not symmetrical, and that's because our root is on this side. So when you're using the skin modifier, you have to have a root, and you can tell where it is by the circle surrounding it. So it might be hard to see in the recording, but there is a circle around this point. And if you want your character to be symmetrical, you have to make sure that the root is in the center. So to move it, you can just select a center point. I like to keep mine on the hips, so I'll select that right here. And in the modifier panel, you can hit mark root.
Okay, this is the part that he's saying the marking root. So in modifier, mark root. Now he's gonna say that we need to make the feet flat on another direction. Let's see.
Like that. And now you can see that our feet are symmetrical now. Another thing to keep in like that. And now you can
So this is it's kind of unproportional. I'm gonna put it a little bit up. Maybe like this is better.
see that our feet are symmetrical now. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you have any disconnected parts like this, you have to make sure that each separate portion has its own root. So if I add a root right here, now it's working, but before it wasn't because there was no root. All right, now we can start scaling some points.
What?
Each separate portion has its own root. So if I add
I don't have any separate portion.
a root right here, now it's working, but before it wasn't because there was no root. All right, now we can start scaling some points up.
I understand.
So I'm gonna start with the head. I'm gonna hit Control R to add in a loop cut like.
Control R. Let's see. It's very interesting. So I shifted here some parts, which are like, yeah, should be all straight. So in here, what he said.
Scaling some points up. So I'm gonna start with the head. I'm gonna hit Control R to add in a loop cut.
Control R. Control R. Okay, it's there. Perfect.
Like that. Control A to scale. Quite a bit. I want this to be a little more spherical, so I'm going to bevel this point with Control Shift and B like that. And that looks a little too wide, so I'll select those again and hit Control A to scale them down. And if you want a different head shape, you can select this point right here. And when we pull it forward, you can see we're getting a little more of a chin. So you can experiment with that to get different head shapes. Another thing that the skin modifier allows you to do is if you scale points up that are close to each other, they'll kind of merge with each other like this. You can see they're merging, and they'll kind of share each other's mass. You can get smoother shapes out of it like that. So you could also do this with the chest like this, and at a certain point it'll kind of merge with the shoulder right here. And you can get different shapes depending on how close or far away your shoulder is. It's easier to demonstrate with a shape like this. You can see that when I scale the center point up, it'll slowly start to smooth out the shape, and you can see that it's kind of merging with the other points. If I scale it up high enough, it will just be one smooth shape connecting like kind of all of them. And this is a way to control like how much mass there is on certain parts of your character, and you can create like some more complex shapes this way. So I want our character to have a skinnier neck, so I'll hit Control R to add a point in here, and I'll scale that down. And if you want the neck to be skinny and long, you can also bevel that one with Control Shift B like that. I'm going to scale the hips up with Control A until it kind of merges and we get a smoother shape. And if you want the torso to have a different shape, you can add a point in here with Control R, and you can scale that up too. So if you wanted to have like more bottom heavy or something like that, or a bigger chest, or you can use it to have like a slimmer waist or something like that. You can also change the leg shape quite a bit by scaling up this point right here. If you turn it up high enough, you can have a character that's shaped like a Pixar mom or something. But I think I'll leave mine right here. So I'm going to select the wrist and pull it up slightly right here. And if you want to extrude this in the same direction that it's already going, I found the easiest way to do that is by hitting Control R to add in a loop cut like this. Then you can hit G twice, and that will slide the point along the loop like that. You can also select the point on the end, hit G twice the same way, and you can see it's not going further than it already was until you hold Alt, and then it'll allow you to go further like that as far as you want. So I'm just going to scale both of these down. This is going to be our wrist, and this is where we're going to start making our hands. So I'm going to hit 7 to look from the top. Select this point right here. And the shape I found that works best for hands is just kind of extruding fingers from the center like this. So we'll have 3 right here, and we'll have a thumb. I'll select all all of those and scale them down so it's a little easier to see, and it's already kind of coming together like that. Then we can just select all of these points right here and extrude them at the same time with E, and we can do the same thing for our thumb. And the reason I add a wrist right here is so we can select this point and scale it up with Control A. And when you scale it up high enough, the mass will merge with the other points around it. And this point right here will keep the wrist small. So now you can move these points around with G or scale them apart for a more natural shape like that. Or you could scale all of these points up where the knuckles are so that they merge together and have like a smoother shape. And if you're not happy with the amount of digits that I have right here, you can make as many as you want with this setup. So I'm just going to select these and hit Shift D to duplicate them. And then I'll just select this point and that point and hit F like that. You can just do that a few times like that. And then I'll select all of them and move them to the center. And you can see sometimes it'll get kind of broken and you have to move them around a little bit for them to start working correctly. But a lot of the time just scaling this point up more will fix it. So this might be excessive, but it's just a way to show you that you can make as many fingers as you want. Personally, I like to stick with 4 digits on my hand. If you want to add some knuckles, you can just select all of these points right here and right click and subdivide. And I want to have more knuckles than this. So there's this little box that pops up when you subdivide it. You can just open that up and change the amount of cuts like that. So now you can see we have the correct amount of knuckles. And for the thumb, I'm just going to add 1 with Control R like that. And now I think our hands are looking pretty good. If you wanted to make your character look bigger, you could move your shoulders further apart and also scale them up a little, as well as the chest. So I'll just scale the chest up really high right there. And if you want the chest to come out more too, or the back, you can just scale outward, kind of like you would with an arm, except you'll go straight out like that. And if you scale it down a little, you can see the mass is kind of merging like that. And right now this just comes a little, you can see the mass straight. You can just scale outward, kind of like you would with an arm, except you'll go straight out like that. And if you scale it down a little, you can see the mass is kind of merging like that. And right now this just kind of looks like a ball or something like that. So if you want it to be wider, you can just use the slider up here to make it a little wider. So now we have a big chest, and you could do the same thing with the back if you really wanted to. So I'll do the same thing, scale it down a little. You might have to scale your shoulders up a little bit for the mass to look correct. If you wanted to add some muscles on the arms, you can hit Control R like that. And I usually will just add a point in between the elbow and the shoulder like this, and you can scale that up. You can do the same thing for the forearm right here, like that. And if you want it to be wider, you can just do that up here, or you can hit Control A and then X like that. So now it's wider in the forearm. If you want it to be even sharper in here, you can just bevel one of these vertices right here with Control Shift B like that. And if you use the scroll wheel, you can add in extra points like this. So I'll add in one extra point. I'll scale all of these down a little smaller, and the middle one I'll scale up. So we have this little part for our elbow. So if you're trying to make it look really extreme, that's one way you could do it. That's just an example of something you can do, but I'm going to hit Control C until our character goes back to the way it was. Another way to change the shape of your character really quickly is with proportional editing. So you can enable proportional editing by hitting O like that, or you can just hit this button up here. So when you do that, you can just select a point and hit G to move things around. And you can see there's this circle now, and if you move your scroll wheel, it'll change the area of influence like that. And this is a way to change the shape of your character pretty quickly. So if I wanted to, I could kind of just take the head, move it forward, and this will kind of make our character more slouchy. And the proportional editing just kind of makes the transition smoother. So now we have a slouching.
Which song? Let me see. I'm not listening. Which song? Let me see. Oh, yes, this song is annoying. It's beautiful. Yeah, so I decided to make once on Instagram, like maybe a couple of days ago. I posted basically one very beautiful picture of a lady in a red, and she was with a cat, and I really want to make her. But he's doing like a guy, but I will do the lady.
And this works with scaling also. You can see I'll select this middle one and hit Control A and scale it down like that. And when I scroll around, you can see it's scaling pretty smoothly and moving to the other points. If you don't have proportional editing on for this, you would have to scale them down each separately, and it just makes it easier when you're using proportional editing. Another thing you'll notice is that instead of following the chain, it will kind of scale everything down that's in the circle. So if you want to scale things down that are only connected and touch the connected parts first, there's actually an option for that in this drop down right here. You just have to check connected only, and then it'll try to see what's connected and scale that down first, like that. You also have a bunch of different fall off shapes in here if you don't like the shape that it's producing. And now the base shape of our character is pretty much done. And you can see if we turn off all of the modifiers, this is the only thing we've actually modeled so far. So you don't really have to put in a ton of work to get as far as we got. And if you want your character to be more blocky, you can turn off the subdivision surface modifier. And you can see now we have this, it's like really low poly. Another thing you can do is change this to simple like that. And you can add in a smooth modifier like this. And this will let you control, I guess, like how blocky your character is if you want it to be just a little smoother around the edges. So you have a few options. If you wanted your character to be just a little smoother around the edges, so you have a few options. If you wanted your character to be asymmetrical, I'd recommend using a mirror modifier just to make all the symmetrical parts that you want to make, and when you're ready to make asymmetrical parts, you can just...
The rig part at the end is fun. I need to tell Nuit. I don't remember if it was you. I think it was Akiyoshi. Is my bucket? Hello. But this guy, Joey Carlino, it's amazing. I'm so grateful for you to suggest he show this kind of stuff, and I'm already imagining how many things I can do with this. Thank you so much. Is my bucket? Hello. How are you? Is that a sheep or what is this dancing there? How are you? How is everything? How is the weather? I broke my lamp today. Oh yeah, it's tiny potato. Okay, I saw that it's like a sheep.
Apply this. And now when we go in here, you can see we have both sides. So if you wanted to have like one arm that's longer than the other or something.
It's good. And you? How did you? I just was passing by. Use the same method to make a snail. I remember. Wow, this is like amazing. I don't know what he's saying now, but I want to have already dress on her and like do the face. But I did her kind of like Disney-ish style. Let's continue.
Now you can have one giant arm or something like that. Another thing the skin modifier lets you do is it actually lets you create an armature. You can see there's just this button right here, and when I do that, it adds these bones in, and if you go to pose mode, it'll actually let you pose it immediately.
No. You tell me that me having this lady right now, if I create armature. Don't tell me this. This 2 years of suffering. 2 years of suffering. Okay. Just don't tell me that now my finger's gonna be moving like, oh my god. Guys, I cannot believe it. This is something incredible. I cannot believe it. It's 2 years and I was making armature by hands. And skin modifier in 1 second. Yeah, I never go to Discord. Oh my god, thank you so much. It's amazing. Like, thank you. Like, it's a life-changing. No way that I'm gonna do again armature in my life. I'm not sure exactly what is this though. All right. Well, is that how it's supposed to be? No. Is it like well, I need to, if I go to the edit, can I just maybe move it somewhere in here? Like this? It's right. All right, then I will not touch it. Okay, he converted it. But now I wish, okay, it's amazing. Let's see what he's doing next.
So I don't have my mirror.
Okay, and is it like is it gonna move it for both of the? Yeah, look, it's moving for all together. Whoa, la 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 la. Whoa, 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 whoa. Amazing. Dun 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 dun. Wow. La la. Amazing. And here. Da 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 da. Okay. But something that I don't like, you know what? Because we forgot to make the knee for her. We were doing like kinematic rig, etc. So I need to undo. I want to actually undo the rig. Oh, okay. What is this? Hey. Wait. What? What? Wait a second. What is undo history? Wait a second. No. I cannot believe it. You look, what have you done? Yeah, but I did it. It's not working. Don't know what have I done. And here, but subdivision supposed to be different. No, something I did wrongly. Oh, okay, she's back. Just because my modifier, okay, gonna save as this and say like skin modifier 2. It's because I don't know, I shifted up, but okay, she's back, and I need to, in edit mode, basically to add to her in here extra knee, wrong order. Yeah, apparently the order is subdivision skin mirrors. That's how he had it. Wow. Oh, so scared. I saved it, but I want to add in here like Control R. This would be the knee, right? So dun, 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 dun. That's what I need to have, right? Perfect. So let's see. He probably gonna add the knee.
Over here, so it's kind of creating some weird errors. But if I just hit Control Z until that goes away, and then my mirror modifier, and then I can add the armature. Now, when I go to pose mode, it should work fine like that. One downside of using this is that when you're creating complex shapes, like I did with the head right here, you have a lot of extra bones that you don't necessarily need. Like I wouldn't need this part at the top, or I might not necessarily want this many bones in the neck. But if you're just trying to make something really fast, this is an option for you. If you're using this to make a rig for a character that you're planning on using for a long period of time, it would make more sense to come into edit mode and clean it up a little, and then you could reparent your mesh to your armature. So I'll just hit Control Z until that goes away, and we have our mirror modifier back. So I think one of the most asked questions on the other video was about creating small details, specifically with sculpting, which is something you can do, but you have to top, or I really think on using for a and then you could reparent your mesh to your armature. So I'll just hit Control Z until that goes away, and we have our mirror modifier back. So I think one of the most asked questions on the other video was about creating small details, specifically with sculpting, which is something you can do, but you have to apply your modifiers first. So if you want to go back and edit this, I recommend...
He's saying that if I want to make small details for her, I need firstly to apply my modifiers and then do the details.
Hitting Shift D to duplicate it first, and then you can hide it right here.
Ah, he's smart and he's doing pretty much what I did. So he select this, he duplicate it in here just to save, then he is like unhiding her, and then he gonna now apply modifiers to her, but let me see. Let me see.
Still has all the modifiers there, but on this one we can just apply this one, and you just want to start from the top and apply them going down like this. And now that everything is applied, you can tab into edit mode and you can actually move this around however.
Okay, so he created a mesh. Let me try. I gonna apply here. I gonna create armature. Also in here I need to apply my skin modifier. I'm thinking, do I want to shade smooth? What if I apply like this? And how many? Okay, if we're gonna go to the edit mode. Oops, not the perfect what I want to. So No, I don't want to have shade smooth. So what if I'm going to say apply now? I don't know. Okay, and he applies subdivision. Armature not yet. So now, perfect. We have the mesh. My God, it's a priceless, just priceless.
For instance, you can come in here and bevel this and create a nose or something like that.
Okay, let me do a little bit of details. I kind of like it all. So let me see. So now I can go to the actually armature. I'm gonna work on my armature. I'm gonna put it like I need to have a viewport for her. Viewport display. Not in front. Just names. I don't need it. Shapes. Bone colors. I'm gonna leave it like this. Okay. So they are somewhere inside. I don't see my bones. But what I want to do is to add some kind of details. All right. I can go to edit mode. And basically I want to go, I think I again now need to apply the, probably I need to subdivide this one more.
And if you wanted to smooth it back out, you could add another subdivision surface modifier in here like that. And I'll shade that smooth also. So now we have a little node. You could also use proportional editing in here too. Or if you want, you can go into the sculpting tab up here and you can start
Yeah, I want to go to the sculpting tab. I have it in here. Amazing. It's one of the best, most productive stuff. I really like tutorials. Like really tutorials are amazing for me. So, what do I want to do? My pen. Amazing. And I will
character however you like. If you want more fine details and you're not worried about the topology, you can turn on dynamic topology up here, and this will allow you to create more fine details like this.
Where he plays dynamic topology.
And this will, and you're not worried about the topology, you can turn on dynamic topology up here, and this will allow you to create more fine details like this. So next I'll add in some eyes with Shift A, and I'll choose a UV sphere like this.
All right, let me just. Okay. Yeah, I will. Okay, I gonna do a subdivision. Yes, for sure. Where is my modifier? Add modifier. We need to have subdivision. One more. I hope nothing gonna crash. We're gonna apply, file, save, and in the sculpting, in here. Can I make it that beautiful as previously? No, apparently no. So in the sculpting, all right, I like to use grab, and yeah, like this. Right? It's like a little alien. Okay, the nose. Where are we supposed to put the nose? Whoa. I did the dynamic topology, but it didn't work. So I, let's say, want to make nose in here. Something I don't like.
Out, you could add another subdivision surface modifier in here like that, and I'll shade that smooth also. So now we have a little nose. You could also use proportional editing in here too. Or if you want, you can go into the sculpting tab up here and you can start sculpting on your character however you like. If you want more fine details and you're not worried about the topology, you can turn on dynamic topology up here. And this will allow you to create more fine details like this. So next I'll add in some eyes with Shift A, and I'll choose a UV sphere like this. I'll rotate that on the X by 90 degrees.
Yeah, so you did a mistake. So maybe I need to undo the stuff that I'm doing, right? Because I want to make lips. Probably I'd rather look what exactly he gonna do. Hey, I already... no, how does it happen? So... ay, probably I gonna... where's my smooth? Well, no. Okay. We will keep like this, alright? Perfect.
Look from the front, scale it down a little first. I'm just lining up one side right here. And then you just want to make sure it's actually in the front, not inside of the head. Too much. And we can add a mirror modifier to this over here. And for the mirror object, we can select our body.
Yeah, that's easy. But I think... oh, well, yeah, I'm gonna just add a mirror. Dun 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 dun. Perfect. I don't like the shape of this.
Right here, and that will make it so that there's actually one on the other side. So when you have this where you want, I recommend hitting Control A to apply the rotation and apply the scale. Select this, right click, and A, one on the other side. So when you have this where you want, I recommend hitting Control A to apply the rotation and apply the scale. Select this, right click, and shade smooth. And you can use the same method to add some eyebrows too if you want. So for the eyebrows, I just used a plane and used a mirror modifier to bring it to the other side, a solidify to give it some thickness, and then a bevel modifier so that it's a little rounder on the edges.
Gotta go just for 1 second and I will be back. Just a second.
edges like that. So when you have these where you want them, I recommend applying the mirror modifiers like that. So with this body right here, we already applied the skin modifier, but if we wanted to add an armature in, we can just select this one right here from earlier before we applied the modifiers. And we can go over to the skin modifier and hit create armature. So we have this armature right here made for us. And then I'll just hide this one again. We can go into edit mode and clear up any bones that we don't want anymore. So for this one at the tip of the head, select it and hit
just fine. You know, we wine and dine. Did them things that couples doing in love. You know, walks on the beach and stuff. You know, things that lovers say and do. I love you, boo. I love you too. I miss you a lot. I miss you even more. That's why I flew you out when we was on tour. But then something got out of hand. You start yelling when I was ran, even though I had legitimate reasons. You know I have to make them dividends. How could you trust with private eyes, girl? That's why you don't believe my lies. Quick to say, shut up, just shut up, shut up, shut it up, just shut up, shut up. We try to take it slow, but we're still losing control. And we try to make it work, but it still ends up the worst. And I'm crazy for trying to be your lady. I think I'm going crazy.
hit Control X to dissolve it like that, and now you can see it's gone. I can do the same thing for this right here for our neck. And if you come over here to the tab with the little running person on it, it's Object Data Properties. You can go down to Viewport Display and turn on the names. You can see that bones and to scale them right and then O4 here. P is that go back into its parent posing finger, the bone. So it's going to take your eyes and your eyebrows and make it so that it's parented directly to the bone. So now when you move your head, they should follow just fine. A quick tip for posing fingers is you just select all of them and then hit period to change your pivot point to individual origins. And now when you try to rotate it, your fingers should curl like this. This is good for posing fists. You try to rotate it, hit period to change your pivot point to individual origins. And now when you try to rotate it, your fingers should curl to individuals. Is you just select all of them and then hit period to change your pivot point to individual origins. And now when you try to rotate it, your fingers should curl point to individuals. Is you just select all of them and then hit period to change your pivot point to individual origins. And now when you try to rotate it, your fingers should curl like this. This is good for posing fists and things like that. But you can see it only works when you have individual origins turned on for your pivot point. If you try it with median point, it's not going to work the same way. And naming our bones the way we did will allow us to mirror poses. So I'll just move one arm like this, and if I hit Control C and then Control Shift V, that'll mirror the pose to the other side. And that only works because of the way we named it with the .R and the .L. You can also flip a pose by selecting everything, hitting Control C, and then hitting Control Shift V. And that will just material. And in here, the only thing we're going to do is add an
Hello. Moros Libre. Hello, you are Libre? Do you speak Spanish? Very welcome in here. My name is Marina. I'm originally Ukrainian. I am doing 3D. I'm actually doing quite a lot of 3D. I'm working in IT field for a long time already. And now I'm basically just more learning of skin modifier and how properly do everything. This is my model so far. Well, what is this? I don't know what is this. I'm gonna just delete it. And I'm playing around with stuff. Very nice to meet you. I'm giving you all the links. This is all my links. This is my balconies project and my Instagram. This is my first book that I wrote. This is my second book that I wrote. And yeah, and this is a Discord. I can actually show you. So I do this tutorial, but if I look in here and I Google for Paperonia Guslik, you can see this is my first animation. I'm gonna share it. It's about Italian girl who turned crazy because she tried pizza with pineapple. It's my very first thing that I did when I started to learn Blender. And I'm constantly trying to do more and more and more and more. I don't speak Spanish, unfortunately. I'm more French. It's okay. I don't know nothing on French. I tried. I speak Catalan and Spanish. It's very hard to learn French for me because it's a lot of people say it's kind of the same, but it's different. And for me, it's way harder. So you see that now she's turning crazy. And now she's gonna steal it. I'm passionate about everything, to say the truth. So now she's in the Louvre. And now she's gonna steal it. And there is a sound and everything. So I was working on my next series, but then I was like, I suffered so much with clothes and animation because I'm constantly looking into my psychological side, and I'm constantly saying, okay, I don't want to look for perfection. I just want to do, but I always look for perfection. And I was suffering so much with the closest animation on the previous work that I was doing, and I was doing a continuation of this cartoon that I suffered. I basically was doing for 1 year all of this thing. You're gonna see it. And I decided just to learn, basically. So this is what I did today. My little lady. Maybe we would need to put the clothes on her, but I want to play 1 year. Yeah, well, I can show you in my iMovie. This is not final, but I have here the prepared next. I decided on my Twitch that every Halloween I will release my cartoon. So since we had here already the... Oh no, actually this is what I was doing. This is my Matrix animation. This is part of my next cartoon. So I was working on how to make the... You see that she stole Mona Lisa and she came home. Bam, that's what I did, right? She's taking it. But you see that I was kind of suffering with the clothes in here. I kind of good with doing this kind of special effects animation, right? She's arrived and she's like, plum. Yeah, but then I decided I will not show you how is it, because I start to keep the secret and intrigue. And I'm gonna release on Halloween. So I prepared the next part for my It's not ready yet, but on Halloween I'm supposed to release it. But I decided like before to organize my frames. I will learn. So I want to play, it's a particle system that I have. I want to make a longer hair for her in here. I'm kind of passing the tutorial, but let me try. So I have here this particle system. Maybe I can make it longer. Can I? Not sure. Okay, this one. It's kind of start to be curly and then it stops. Okay, wow. It's very interesting. Okay. Just to make the close above the surface of the skin. Maybe using the inflate tool on sculpting side of Blender, it would help for that. You mean for the closers? Maybe. If you do this 3D, don't be shy. If you do the Blender, share your stuff on Discord. It's very. I'm always curious to see what other people do. So, clamping. We always have clamping and kink curl. Okay, let's do this. I don't know what does it mean. Possibly. It's kind of weird. Hair shape, what does it even mean? But I wanted to make a curl wave. This is this is not what I was expecting. It's kind of nice. So I can change the hair color, I believe, for this. You know me already. I have to tell you something. Just to make the clothes above the surface moros libre. It's okay if I if I know you. It's totally fine. I expect. I was an old viewer. I just got hacked, and this is my new account. Okay, you know, maybe you're a nuclear blast. If you're a nuclear blast, I missed you so much. Are you nuclear blast? How to even? Okay, let's see more. I was an old viewer. Maybe you're Venus. What do you guys think about this hair? Twist. Yasuki, Soka, Yasuki. Okay, hello, hello. So in any case, like, What a drama you did. Well, I actually, a lot of times, sometimes someone who I know, like in real life, they join the stream, and of course, it's like you never know. All right, so that I know you in real life. I'm already on the Discord. Ah, well, then I don't need to present myself. So let me see if I can. I kind of like it like this. I think it's very nice. Right? Okay. And I'm not sure, maybe I should rotate it. So pose mode. Right, so in any case, I will select the hair, I will select the bones, I go to the pose mode, I do Command P, we might make it for the bone, and now my hair is going to dun 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 do this. It's cool to see you still on Twitch, but I thought you would have more viewers. You should. Not sure what to say. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I also think so. But I mean, I do it. I have always constant small grow. I still affiliate. And yeah, I don't really, like, it's not my main job. So I enjoy it. But I don't, probably I'm not making extras other people do. I have no idea. So maybe not enough effort, I don't know. I'm not sure. All right. And we're gonna add a cube. This would be as usually I do the scene. Right. Oh, and you say it, and just right now I remembered that basically I also always stream right now on YouTube, and probably I forgot, no, if someone was writing to me something. Okay. So oh yeah, I have a light in here. It's even more interesting now. Maybe you should try to do a bit of just chatting with people at the beginning of the stream, some kind of quiz game or something. I would help, maybe, I don't know. But there is cool to see that you're working. I do. I grow a lot. To say the truth, sometimes I'm not sure if I have this energy, because like I here for art, right? And like it's just my platform to, like, I always repeated this. Doesn't matter whether I home like working, or I am like even if I don't have anything to do, I would sit and I would do probably drawing or 3D. So I do it anyhow, so I just stream it online, and that's all. But probably it's, I definitely, we had the guy, his name was Viamo, and I was saying that Viamo ti amo. I'm very not mainstream streamer, and I like to do everything only the way how I want to do it. So like, it's very hard for me. Oh, look, with the black one, amazing. Or should we do it green? Wow, I think it's even green. It's even better. Wow, I love it. And this one should be a little bit more orange, like this, or pink, or green, or da. Well, slightly. Well, no, I don't like it. We're gonna keep it white as it is. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. So, what I will do now, It's really cool hair that she got. Let's see the tutorial, what he's saying. Oh, no. Oh. It's a... Ba-bam. Where is my... Okay.
It only works when you have like this. Select your body right here and add a new material. And in here, the only thing we're going to do is add in an image. For this image, I'm using a palette that I created, and you can get that for free on my Gumroad. I'll have a link in the description. So to add in an image, you can just hit Shift A and then search right here for image texture, like that.
He said in the image textures.
So I already have mine in here, and I'll just plug the color into the base color right here. And then we need to add a texture coordinate. So Shift A, search for texture coordinate, and I'll just plug the UV into the vector here.
No, I'm not sure if I'm not doing it right now, but I want to see how he did the eyes for him.
And hit Control Plus to expand the selection. We can just move that to...
Oh, this is something cool that I want to know how he's doing.
Before, you can just come over here and hit G to change this to whatever color
is
you
it?
want. So let's just change this to a slightly
what is
darker
this?
color. G, sure, the creator. Now you pointing over hit mode, we can actually use your palette up here. And you can just going to change this to the UV editor and make sure you choose your palette up here.
Oh my god, no, that's not what I want to have.
Green, this, and make sure that they're actually connected.
I think I'm gonna do something different. I will open my... I think this one is okay. Alright. I'm just gonna copy it. I will just try to change it. I don't need those. I will just change the eyes for the ones that I already painted. Have you studied psychology for your book? No, I actually very skeptical about this. how you do AI generated art too. I'm not that artist who is gonna say that he is against artificial intelligence, because I think that we cannot combat against this. I think we just need to adapt ourselves, because I'm not sure if we can fight over it, and the smarter is the one who is adapting to it. But for the psychology, I actually think that when we are facing some troubles or something, I do believe that we did this way that we develop some kind of defense mechanism, and psychologists can help up to some extent to us. Not necessarily always is good. That's what I think. So I never studied the psychology. I share my experience there, my thoughts. Yeah. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna apply. Oh, no. Okay, let's try play this. Naked lady. Well, good. We need to map the eyes to her bone in here. Command B. Bone. So now I think she's gonna move. Perfect. The camera. Let's make it. I need to pick up the camera, and I need to move the camera the way how I want it to be. Okay, perfect. UW psychology could really help most of the people. Most of the people? I don't think that I think that psychology cannot help most, depending on what you call the psychology, right? There is a very, very wide stuff. But my personal opinion is that this kind of treatment, when they say that a person needs to go for years to do something, it's not necessarily a good psychology, because people suffer for years and they don't have a good result. And secondly, is that taking into account how psychologists are right now working, and when they are imposing their opinions over the opinion of the client, probably it's not the best. So what I say is that before we judge ourselves and before we say, okay, yeah, I feel like it's a tendency a lot of times nowadays that if I have some trouble, if I have something, I need a psychologist, right? Psychologists will not deal with the problems or our troubles, and there is some kind of reality that you need to accept and deal with it, and you need to develop defense mechanism over it. That's what I say, that a lot of times, and it's so easy right now that everybody is psychologist, good one is the one who would really, really help you. I think it's I'm for it, but I think it's just very hard to find. And normally, even if it's a good psychologist, it's very, very long to do the treatment. So we're gonna make a small animation. I'm gonna shrink it up to 50, as I always do. And we're gonna make a small dance. I'm gonna have here a pose mode. Oh no, I wanted to cover it. We're gonna have here pose mode. All right, I got it now. Do you like psychology? Are you for psychology now? So how we do it? What I wanted to say, what kind of psychology we do now? We will do the rotation. Okay, and now this. And a little bit of the body movement. A little bit, I said. All right, let's see how is it gonna be. Perfect. What do you mean by good psychology? What does it better than the others? I think the others don't have education, and the others, like, we are like this. When you talk to someone, you impose your opinion on someone. In my book I say exactly this. Look, I gonna read before I go the stuff that I was reading. I'm reading the Diary of a CEO, and here it's very, very curious thing that he wrote. The Diary of a CEO. Okay, it's something that I was writing in my book. I'm just not that popular as him. So he was writing in here that, unfortunately, our self-story isn't just influenced by the first-party evidence we collected about ourselves. For instance, if society you live in holds the stereotype that black people are less capable than white people, and you're a black person, you will likely internalize that belief and it will become part of your self-story. What I'm saying is that we constantly being the victims of other people's opinions. They input on us other people's opinions. This is like a radical one, right? For the racism, but this is what all the people do to everyone. People start to, and then he say, at 8 years old, I was eagerly putting my swimming shorts in the school changing room ahead of my first swimming lesson, when a fellow pupil turned to me and casually said, "Did you know black people can't swim? Their bodies are different, so it won't be easy for you today." I'm of English and African heritage, so in that moment, with that one casual comment, not only did my excitement evaporate, but so did my belief that I would ever be able to swim again. He believes that he will not be able to swim never again in his life, just because someone imposed his opinion. So, with all these stupid comments, we should be very careful of what kind of psychologist we take. And also, as I say, to be very, very careful of what kind of TV series we watching, what kind of social media we consuming. It's always easy for us to adapt to something funny, simple, etc. But the easy stuff, normally it's not the best for us. That's the end of my beautiful speech. And now it's time for me to rate. And I'm gonna rate basically to... Let me see if I follow someone. Anthony Wheeler. It's been a long time since I haven't rated to him. So, thank you, mwah, and see you very, very soon. Bye, bye, bye. Ciao, 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 ciao. Do, do, do.